Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a Trickster video. Yes, the Chucky update is out, but you know the thing that I care about, and the good portion of you that are on this channel do, is Tricky. Tricky got birthed. Birthed? That sounds like birth. Nuffed? Nuffed. He got nerfed and buffed. He got nerfed from the PTB, but he got changed. But I'm gonna be honest. Well, I'm going to save that for a few seconds. I'm going to do this video like I did for the PTB. People seem to enjoy that. I'm going to tack on gameplay at the end, which kind of shows what I'm talking about with no commentary. If you want to go through that, I'll have a timestamp if I remember, hopefully. And here I'll just talk about my feelings about this current iteration of Trickster. So that's how we're going to do it. And if you do like this format, let me know. If you don't like this format, also let me know. It just seems to work out the last time. I don't know if that was just dumb luck or whatever, but we're going to try it again and see how it goes. So, Trickster got nuffed. Nuffed. We're going with nuffed. And if I'm being honest, it overall feels like a nerf. If future me titles this the way I think I probably will, the title is right where I was right. The title is right that I was right. The biggest change that from the PTB to live that happened is that, yeah, instead of throwing at a rate of 4 knives per second, you throw at 3, and that's awful. That is abysmal, especially when you still slow down to throw them. Now, I'm not saying that you need to stay 115 while throwing knives, but going so far down on the movement scale is pretty bad. It is pretty bad. Ooh, and only throwing at a rate of 3 per second, including main event. I've heard people ramble on that it's a bug, but I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's not. Nobody's addressed it from what I've seen. If I'm completely wrong, let me know in the comments or something. Shout out to those of you that let me know that there might be reverting batteries included nerf. You probably should, but that video apparently I made people mad anyway, even though I wasn't saying that it shouldn't have happened. Either way, this is about Tricky and his nerf barf nuffed. Oh man, oh man. I knew that the 3 knives per second was going to be bad. I knew that was going to be the one. And ironically enough, that's on the video titled, I think something like Behavior is Doing Better with Balance, where the rest seemed like good. It seemed like, you know, they were taking precautions and whatnot, and they were doing the thing. But I wasn't aware of how right I would be, if I'm being honest with you. I knew 3 per second was going to feel bad, but it feels awful. And the way main event works is that it just kind of caps you out at your throw speed for a couple of seconds. So for you to stay at 3 for main event 2 is bad. Now, I think the next part to address is going to require this illustration. Well, not illustration, because I don't have enough time for those, but this is this visual aid right here. This was the build that I was going to... Well, this is the build that I used. And there's a lot of parts of this that was going to be several videos, but in the current state of Trickster, I think you all are going to get all of this, which is why I've decided to do the video this way on top of that, where I'm going to explain a couple of things that should be changed, could be changed, might never be changed, yada yada yada. When I was telling you all about the add-ons that people should have been worried about, and I made that add-on tier list, yeah, it's the purples that you should be worried about, and increasing the duration of main event by 0.4 seconds for each blade hit. because I went with shattering for the one that you all will see at the end of this video to steal prop. But the other one that you might want to watch out for is trick blades. However, I'm pretty sure something is off with trick blades. Pretty sure. Now, again, this one I could be totally wrong about, and I understand how people feel about main event, but last time I was a faithful trick blades trickster user, the way I think the speed at which the projectiles are colliding with the map has thrown off the way they should be bouncing off of the map. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not consistent, but it wasn't consistent because you had recoil. Now that recoil is gone, something's off with this in my testing. Now, again, I could be completely wrong and just the muscle memory is completely gone. That is very, very possible. But in the testing of using trick blades, it feels very off from what it should. So I will say I was wrong on trick blade so far, but that's also because I didn't expect the 3 knives per second to feel the way they do and with the trajectory. I don't know. I'll have to do even more testing to see if I am just straight up wrong about this. But trick blades and Edge of Revival are the ones that I was advising you to probably be more cautious of with the PTB version of Trickster, because nobody cared. I'm telling you, this one wasn't an issue. And in the previous iteration of instant reloading, that wasn't the issue. If you were almost never reloading, it didn't matter. But if you were almost never reloading and main event was proccing super often and the knives were bouncing off of the environment or shattering off of the environment and you were extending the duration of main event from the base 5 seconds, well, guess what? Yeah, people were going to go down. I didn't do that in the PTB because I already knew games weren't going to last that long, and I was hopefully going to make it a video on live, but here we are with a version of Trickster in which I don't think you all are seeing those videos anytime soon because of the state of Trickster now. The other thing that I wanted to address with hopefully live version of Trickster is that this is a video series I haven't kept up with for some time now that, got hit or miss traction and people hit or miss liked it. It was the best perk user. So with Trickster now being 32 meters and 115 and having to go to lockers seamlessly, I was going to say he is now the best user of Ultimate Weapon. And you go, but what about Oni? What about Billy? For their power, if you are now seeking out lockers, you are going out of your way to use the power, especially if you're going to use Oni. You are already operating on time constraints. Now, mind you, you can open the locker first, and then demon dash across the map, and then go from there. That is very possible, however, you are still wasting time, which Oni typically does not have, as somebody that has to focus on snowballing for the win, whereas Trickster, Ultimate Weapon, is just directly into something you have to do. And now with your terror radius being 32, this was supposed to feel amazing overall. You have to go to lockers anyway, you're now 115, you're 32. However, Trickster isn't strong enough at the current point of recording for me to actually tell you that. When I tell you those things, I'm not trying to do it for views or whatever or sensationalize it. Yeah, those are usually better views compared to the rest of my videos because it's like, wow, he put it in bold and he said the word best. And so, that gets more eyes on it. But I truthfully seek out those interactions, whether it be the old, outdated now Wraith video in which Hubris was best used on him because he's the only person that had a different way of being stunned. So, is able to be procced on that. But, when I do these things, that's what I do them for. But I cannot sell to you that Trickster is the best user of Ultimate Weapon right now because of how bad he feels. He feels really bad. Really bad. Like before, the thing with Trickster that you always have to be wary of that is a noob trap is the fact that people want to pull up your knives and immediately go into it even though they're not close. You have to get close to people, then you throw your knives, and then they're done. They're down. Especially if they're out in the open. However, with 3 per second and it taking 8 hits to get an injury and laceration being 10 seconds, oh man, oh man. Oh man, oh man. Oh man, oh man. Yeah, that's almost completely out the window. I know in my video, is it Trickster's Dream and Nightmare, or is it Behavior is Doing Better with Balance? It's one of those two videos where I go over the fact that if you're going to keep the 4 per second and be in 115, you need to give people, and the main event, you need to give people more time, or less time? An easier time of losing laceration. However, if you take it down to 3 while keeping the 10, yeah, and making main event a little bit harder to come by, yeah, that ain't it, Chief. That's not it. That's a very tricky one. You go, but we just tweaked the 4 to 3. That is a very big one to keep because the windows, as I was discussing in one of those videos, is that if you're going to make Trickster more skill focused, or this again, I've been fighting on people that this Trickster isn't as easy as you think, and now he's definitely not as easy as you think. Surprisingly, I think people are catching on because I've gotten far less DCs than I ever do playing Trickster. If you're going to just change one of those, you have to accommodate across the board. Because just mathematically, right? If you're throwing at 3 per second, but the windows, you only have about, realistically, 1 or 2 seconds to catch somebody out in the open. If with DbD being as cluttered as it is, with the loops being placed where they are, so on and so forth, realistically, unless you are playing one of the corn maps and you are starting at the beginning of the corn and they are running straight through the corn, everything else requires 1-2 seconds max of not having cover one way or another. And if you are only getting, and again, we're just going to go straight maths, if you only have 2 seconds, you're throwing at 3 per second, that's 6, and it takes 8 for an injury, and you are losing speed, even though you started at 115, you could be right on them. Yeah, you're not going to have an easy time. And then you go, but Monster, you're talking about how now main event is easier to proc and easier to get. However, you've also made main event at base 5 seconds. So, again, at 5 seconds, you don't have to reload as often, but you do now. You do now. You do. You're back to square one where you have to reload very often, but I don't think that you're back to needing Iron Maiden or Melodious Murder, because you're 115 now. You are now 115 and the reload is 3 seconds. That's the big key that I was trying to address, where, like I was saying, like I've said several times, it doesn't matter how long it takes to reload. Okay, it does, but that's not the biggest one. when I have to get to a locker, then get away from a locker. Especially when not all the maps are easy to get to the lockers. If I'm 110, and true, I think the difference between a 110 and a 115 getting across a map, the difference is like 10 seconds, I think. But if I'm 110 and having to get across a map, or having to reload and cross a map, and my projectiles aren't instant injury states unlike some people, yeah, and I have to reload constantly, that's time that adds up. However, now that you're 115 and the lockers take 3 seconds, it's easier on you, so I don't feel that you need Melodious Murder and Iron Maiden anymore because of how often you get main event. But the way you get main event in combination with the health states and the laceration going away so fast because you're still only throwing at 3 per second, it hurts. 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 It hurts so much. It hurts so much. Now, again, I'm not going to try to sell myself as the best Trickster player. I definitely took time off from Trickster with MFT, so hey, MFT is now gone. So, that's something. MFT isn't as big as a player anymore, but that being said, if this feels this bad with MFT being gone, that's bad. That's bad. And knowing behavior, they will bring MFT back for Survivors in one way or another. I'm calling it. It'll be like, on your final hook, you move at 105 or something like that. I don't know, something like that. I already see it. But yeah, that's it feels not good. It feels not good. Not good at all. But I should also explain the build overall, why I'm running certain things for the new people here. Oh man. Starstruck is probably the number one that I get a lot of questions on. I take it back. I don't get questions on it. I just get insults over it. Starstruck, Trickster, like I said several times, you don't have the luxury. Again, it's before the PTB and now post PTB. You don't have the luxury of not getting a hook. And now that you have a 32 meter terror radius and 115, especially now, I throw on Starstruck because it'll keep people away from you when they don't expect it. They will do dumb things in front of you. They will basically throw when Starstruck is in play because they don't expect it to be on the Trickster himself. As well as it'll just get you some easy hooks every now and again, so you can, and even if they do something to make it so that you drop somebody, you can then use your now 115 speed to actually hit somebody. And I was using it when he was 110, so hey, you can definitely use it now. To kind of exchange and have somebody else still injured and probably somebody that's full health that got exposed trying to save their friend. Now they're instant downable, so there's a trade-off. And yeah, so that's why I use Starstruck. Ultimate weapon, I've explained what it was going to be for the video and how it incorporates, so I'll just go past that. And Bamboozle is one that a lot of us Trickster players have been using on him since time immemorial. If you can vault 15% faster, you shut down loops that you otherwise would have had a terrible time dealing with, especially when, especially now when you are throwing at 3 per second. You're not a pyramid head slinger or huntress, contrary to popular belief. Yeah, it's nice to get them in the animation for a bit, but you're not going to get a health state out of it. Not going to get a single health state out of it in the one go of it. You're not throwing 8 by the time they vault over a window. So bamboozle is good for when they don't expect it, and you do the Bubba thing and cut them off. But now you have a ranged chainsaw, or what you used to have. This is where I would put my ranged chainsaw if I had one. Right now, that's kind of where bamboozle has always been. So I think now more than ever, with you being 115, I recommend it more like when Dead Hard was the key player in exhausting perks. So I recommend it again. And then Dissolution. This is a funky one that you can drop or you can keep. You might see Blood Favor here. However, Blood Favor is a hex, and I don't like running hexes without undying. Yeah, that's it. Because they usually pop in the first few seconds, and you can't really afford to be down one perk as Trickster. It feels bad saying that again, but you can't be in a position where you are running on 3. And mind you, if you're running like No Way Out and endgame perks or something like that, maybe. And hey, I guess you could throw on No Head. If you know Head, you might be able to use it now that you're 115 a little bit better. But Dissolution is something that people sometimes shoot at me. It's just like, hey, throw on Dissolution. And I don't know, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's up in the air. This one can be swappable. So that's what the build in the video is. Probably should have put this before, but yeah, there'll be a timestamp maybe if I'm not too lazy. I got things to do, unfortunately. So, well, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's the build that were used for tricky footage to get a feel for how good or bad he feels. The add-on tier list. Do I think that I was off the rocker with it? No. From what I've seen, from what I've done, I think I was pretty accurate on it. You don't need to run this one when you have this one. Yeah, you don't. Especially when you're going to be getting to that one blade away from maximum a little bit more often now, because they will be cutting corners and having their laceration go away. Like, yeah, the corner cutting is... It hurts. It hurts. I mean... Yeah, it hurt before, but you were moving up with the amount of knives you were throwing, so it didn't hurt as bad because those were openings and you just put it down, but then there was MFT, so, you know, hey, there was, again, some trade-offs, which is why I stopped using Trickster nearly as often with MFT being king, so, yeah, hey, you throw this on, you'll get more value than you want, I'll tell you that much. Pierce through, I didn't test this one yet because I was so thrown off with these two. Because this one, something's different. Something's different. Maybe the recoil made it feel better? But I can't imagine that being possible. But I was trying to, like, bounce off of walls the way I used to very long ago. And with main event only lasting 5 seconds. I wasn't getting the value that I used to, which is weird to say. But that was when E was the one. But now it's... I don't know. Trick Blades is still in the air. I don't think I'm wrong yet. As wrong as I could be. Like, for its tier placement, maybe Max put it down 1, but I don't know. Didn't test this one. It's not worth testing, if I'm being honest with you. It's not really worth it, if I'm being honest with you. Because you get like 1, 2, 3, turn a corner, put your knives away. That's the other thing that I liked about the PTB is that I didn't have to do the, alright, 1, 2, 3, alright, put my knives away so I can catch back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And put my knives away, alright, catch back up 1. Like, you know, I didn't... Or 2, I guess, because it was 8. Right? I didn't feel like I needed to do that nearly as much in the PTB because it was 4 per second and 115. However, now that you're back to 3 per second at base, it's not moving up. Yeah, you need to do that again, and sure, being 115 means you catch up quicker. Holy heck, does it feel bad? Oh man, oh man. I still won't recommend you to have additional blades. Still won't recommend you to do this one. Combo. Yeah, that not. Oh, my beloved fish spin soda is in the dirt. Because who cares about that when you could just increase the main event that you're currently using currently. So yeah, I've talked about Melodies of Murder, Ripper Brace, and Lucky. Nope, wrong one. On target single. Do I recommend them? I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I don't think that changed. I don't think I recommend them more than I would. Yeah, I know I've talked about the laceration being an issue, but having 3 more seconds of it isn't the difference you would need. This would need to go up to 5 for you to make it worth taking up an add-on slot for. And I do not suggest you using both of these when you could be running something like this or this. And moving forward, what is my build going to be? What are my add-ons going to be? Huh. I didn't think about that. Because I don't run purples every game. I don't like that concept. I think moving forward, my everyday is going to be Waiting for You and Tequila Moonrock. I think that'll be my day-to-day Trickster add-ons moving forward. And while I'm here on Tequila Moonrock, increasing the duration by 60%. Yeah. That's what? 3 seconds? Something like that, right? 3 seconds? Yeah. I guess. I don't remember where I put it on the tier list off the top of my head, actually. But, okay. So I think in combination, those will be mine moving forward because of how often. Well, because you're getting main event more often than you did before, but not as often as the PTB, which is kinda hurts. Ugh. I don't know. Oof. Inferno Wires, probably not. No. This is one that I probably should test more. Because if this becomes another one that's like quality of life, just to make it so you don't feel as bad on the 3 per second. Huh. I don't know. I guess I'll test it more after this video comes out. Since I don't really have the time right now to be testing it even further. Or at all, because I actually kind of forgot about it, if I'm being honest with you, because I was too focused on purple and Waiting for You. So, maybe I'll test out later after this video is out, and still no. So I think that's everything I wanted to cover with Ricky and his nuffed state. So, I'm not even going to say nuffed anymore. It is straight up a nerf. No, I'll take the back. It's enough. Because what it does now with being 115 and 32 meter tear radius, it gives you more options of perks and things to use. You can actually get more value out of things that require you to be somewhere in an amount of time and use your tear radius or something like that. So, yeah, you have more value out of that now. And use your tear radius. So, yeah, I guess it's a buff when it comes to using perks. But overall, just using the base character without anything else, like perks and add-ons, it is a nerf. So, take what you will with that information. And because I'm just going to give you gameplay with no commentary after this, I'll sign off here. If you like the video, like it. Got a comment from me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.